Welcome to the What I Wish I Knew After Pregnancy Loss podcast. I am your host, Sharna Southan. I am an angel mum, a rainbow mum, a pregnancy loss practitioner, and trauma-informed coach. I created the Institute of Healing Through Pregnancy Loss out of my own experience with loss in the hopes to provide understanding and healing, educating people on pregnancy loss, and creating more women or men in trained support roles. In this podcast, I hope to shed light on what I wish I knew in relation to pregnancy loss, opening up the conversation, breaking the stigma, and bringing real-life stories plus guest experts. Thank you for being here with me today, and let's dive into today's episode. Hello, beautiful souls. Sharna with you. Today, I want to talk about triggers because, before pregnancy loss, life seemed pretty cruisy in comparison. And this is also something that I have had people write in to me to talk about. So here I am talking about it with you today. After pregnancy loss, life becomes a trigger. Everything that we encounter, we see, we hear, it all becomes one, massive trigger. Even our body becomes a trigger. Now, I want to talk to you about triggers because triggers aren't the enemy. They're not something for us to be afraid of, but we are afraid of them because they hurt and they make us hurt and we try to avoid them. I've also had a lot of people write in and ask, how do I avoid triggers? And unfortunately, avoiding triggers is not the answer because we can't avoid triggers. We can't avoid things that happen in our day-to-day life. We can't avoid a trigger from our body. And I spoke in one of the previous episodes about, our periods. Our period can become a trigger and you can't avoid that. So what do you do with it? How do you support yourself through these times, through understanding that you can't avoid a trigger? So how do I process it? How do I support myself and not be so intensely affected by it? So today I want to talk to you about how to understand, what triggers are, how we can, possibly support ourselves through being triggered. I also like to call, a trigger an activation because what it does is it activates something within us, something that was already there, whether it be a belief, an emotion, but it activates that belief, that emotion, that trauma. It reactivates it in our body, and that's when we become triggered. But like I said before, we can't avoid triggers, but, often we will, and it's what I've said in one of my previous episodes as well, is like, why would you say that to me? Why would you do something like that to me? And it felt like a personal attack at me because I was hurting and what that person said was insensitive. And you might be down the street and you're not ready to see something. It could be a pregnant woman. It could even be on social media. It could be a pregnancy announcement. Or you might see a family down the street and that triggers you. So unfortunately, life, for others doesn't stop when we're grieving as much as we want it to. So, something someone says or does unintentionally triggers something within you, stirring up a feeling or an emotion or a thought. I want you to know that that's okay. I want you to feel it and sit with it and acknowledge it for yourself. Because before any behavior or reaction, there is first a circumstance, so a trigger, a feeling and a meaning that we have then assigned to that circumstance, to that feeling, to that emotion, to that thought. There's a meaning that's been assigned to that from you. The empowering part is we can choose what that meaning is. We can choose again. Our past assigns meanings to a trigger before we even realize it, and before we know it, we're in a reaction. So a trigger is a big emotion, a big reaction, or a wound that gets activated in you and rises up based on something that someone else has said or done or you've noticed around you. When we get triggered, it's super easy to blame the trigger, to get angry or upset at that thing that caused it, whether it's a person, or you could even end up internalizing and blaming yourself for a reaction that didn't seem like you. But what happens then is that we miss the opportunity to heal. When we start blaming other people, outside environments, outside circumstances, we miss the opportunity to heal. And I want you to see what is triggering in you right now, what is rising up, be it an emotion, a reaction, an inner story. It already existed within you. That person or situation didn't create it or make you feel that way. They simply activated something within you. And now we have the chance to heal that part of the story. You can look at it and see it for what it is, and you can choose to love on that part of you. So trying to avoid a trigger is not the option. Understanding what that trigger is for you. We are all going to be triggered. Every single one of us is going to be triggered on a day-to-day basis, especially after pregnancy loss, because there's triggers everywhere. And it's not about avoiding them. It's not about running away from them, hiding yourself away. It's about understanding that when you are triggered, when those emotions are activated, understanding what it means for you. And it's not going to be something that happens overnight. You're not going to just wake up one day and be able to figure that out. You're going to go through multiple different reactions. And instead of responding to the situation, you'll be reacting. And that's okay, because you're not going, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight where you're going to be able to understand what's happening. But what I invite you to do when you do get triggered, when those emotions are activated or those thought patterns, any sensations in your body get activated, I invite you to look at them. I invite you to thank them, because now this is the opportunity for you to heal that part of you, because this is the time where we can choose again. We can choose a different outcome in those circumstances, so that next time that you're triggered, the outcome will be different. It won't be so intense. And, more often than not, when we react in a certain situation, when it's a knee-jerk reaction, we then walk away. We feel worse than what we actually did because we're reacting in a way that isn't us. So when we can understand the triggers and understand that they're not the enemy, they're not something for us to hide away from, to run away from. They're actually something for us to lean into and to understand more. And by doing that, it empowers us. It empowers you the next time that you have an interaction that could possibly trigger you. The next time you speak to someone, the next time you see that pregnancy announcement, the next time you see a family down the street or a pregnant woman, your response inside of you will be different. And you'll be more empowered also to know that you have a tool that can support you in processing what's actually happening. And that tool is, you already possess it. It's just curiosity, being curious of actually what's coming up for you. And like I said, leaning into that, understanding what is being activated and what that meaning has, like what label you have put on it, what meaning you have given it. What does it mean for you as a person? What does it mean for you for your future? Or, what meaning have you placed on that emotion, that thought process, that sensation? And you can also change the meaning. That's the other empowering part. You can change the meaning and you can change the way that it all plays out. I hope this has been helpful for you. If it has, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and I look forward to speaking with you in the next episode. 1 in 4 pregnancies will result in miscarriage. 1 in 8 women will experience infertility. 1 in 100 women will experience recurrent miscarriage. And 1 in 160 births end in stillbirth. Have you been wanting to make a difference in the lives of women or men who have experienced pregnancy loss because you can see so many suffering in silence, but you just don't know how? Collectively, we can change how bereaved parents can access mental, physical, and emotional support after their experience. There is a lot of women with unhealed trauma, and there is a huge gap in the current support system when it comes to bereaved parents' recovery after loss. There are too many women and men suffering in silence. The Pregnancy Loss Practitioner certification is a worldwide, one-of-a-kind program that gives you proven methods designed for healthcare professionals, medical staff, midwives, nurses, doulas, birth workers, coaches, and angel parents alike. The Pregnancy Loss Practitioner certification is bridging that gap. It will give you a proven support structure to follow and education specific to pregnancy loss, created by a lost mum. It is creating more education specifically for loss so that you can enhance your service and become the point of difference. Or you can create the support that you so desperately needed in your healing after loss. This is the next level of growth and expansion you have been searching for. So does this sound like something that you have been searching for? Let's explore this more together. You can head to the episode show notes where you'll find the program application, or direct message me on Instagram and let's open up the conversation in how you can use this education. You have a gift, and I look forward to supporting you and witnessing you bring your gift to the world, healing and transforming women's lives. Thank you for listening in with me today. I hope you found this episode helpful. If you did, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Take a screenshot of this episode, share it to social media, and tag me at Institute of Healing_PL. I love seeing what is resonating with you right now. If you want to chat further, I invite you to connect with me through Instagram. Head over and follow my Instagram account, send me a DM, and let's open the communication. If you want to know more about how you can be the support for others, head to the show notes and fill out the application form for the Pregnancy Loss Practitioner certification. I want to also note here that what I share within the episodes is not medical advice. If you need further support, please consult your doctor. Thank you again. Much love to you. Be gentle with yourself, and I look forward to supporting you on the next episode.